again. This time I thought that I'd talk a little bit about sounds, how I approach them, and how I'm using my pedal board, because a lot of people been asking me what I use live and what I use in the studio. Well, live with Shining, I used Marshall JCM 2000, and you know, that was a rental amps, because we basically all of our gigs was flying gigs, or if we did a US tour we rented a backline there. And I really liked the Marshall JCM 2000s, the DSL, the old model made in England. I liked the clean channel, and I liked how it reacted, how it took, how it worked with distortion and overdrive pedals. Because I only used the clean channel on the amp, and I got my distortion and all of my sounds from my pedal board. I used to use live like JCM 800s, and I boosted them with overdrive, but most of the or too often the amps were in a quite bad condition, or the tubes were, and the sound was really thin and stuff. And sometimes, you know, I mean, I played with like, you know, Fender combos or Vox combos where you really, you know, don't get the distortion or the sustain even with the overdrive pedal. And so that's why, because I used to, you know, believe that the only good distortion is a tube preamp and power amp distortion. But in the last years, a lot of manufacturers, they made really good distortion pedals which sound and feel like a real amp. And the first one I started to use was a Wagner Ecstasy Red pedal, and then I used the MXR 5150 pedal, which is, its name is overdrive, but it's a distortion pedal. But after like on the first USA tour we did with Shining, I tried the Friedman BE-OD, which is based on the Friedman Brown Eye head, and that was like, you know, that's amazing pedal. I mean, it has the feel and the sound of a modified Marshall with lots of distortion, which basically the Friedman Brown Eye head is. So at the moment I'm or in Shining, like I said, I used and on all the other shows that I've been doing, you know, I've been using just a clean amp, you know, whether it's Fender or whatever. But with the Friedman pedal you can get an awesome distorted sound no matter basically what the amp is. And that's been my live setup. And I've also played straight to the board, you know, the mixing board with for example Neunaber Iconoclast. If I have in-ears, I just, you know, plug my pedal board straight into the Neunaber Iconoclast, and from there to the mixing board. And now I'm looking forward to try out the new Seymour Duncan Power Stage 700, and that has because it's also an amp, but it's made like a pedal platform thing, and it's made to be used with you know, like pedal distortions or some like Kemper or whatever, these digital things, which I'm not that big of a fan, because I like to have my real pedal board with me with all the distortions, overdrives and stuff, so I can, you know, maybe tweak them and you just, you know, hit some pedal on the fly without having to, you know, care about whether it's something is pre-programmed or whether it's not. I just, you know, I like to do the tap dancing. I mean, I don't do that much. I, you know, basically switch from clean to semi-dirty to overdrive, and then I've added maybe a little delay, phaser, flanger, chorus, whatever, what I feel or what is needed for the song. So yeah, So that's kind of my live thing, and you know, I'm switching also to use the Simmerdakan power stage. I also already have the 170, which doesn't have the XLR, the capture simulation output, but it's only have a speaker output, and it's basically like a pedal-sized amp, and I've used that too on some of the gigs I've done, and it works and sound amazingly. I mean, how cool is to have, you know, like your own amp in your, you know, backpack or your pedalboard when you go to a show, and you don't have to worry about the rental backline. You only need a cabinet, and with the Power Stage 700 you don't even need a cabinet. If you have good in-ears or a good monitoring system, you can plug that thing straight into the mixing decks. So the sound is the same night after night. So I'm really getting used to that. But in the studio, I've used Kemper. On the last 2 Shining albums, I used Kemper. On the 9th album, the Everything Everywhere, etc., we made a what's the word, profile. We profiled my Wagner Fish preamp, and with I hooked that up in Andy LaRocque's Sonic Train Studios. I guess I hooked that in a Marshall power amp and some cabinet, 4x12 cabinet that Andy had, and that has had a 4x12 cabinet. I guess it was like with Celestin V30s, which is Celestin V30 Vintage 30 is my favorite speaker. 75s are a bit too harsh. Greenbacks are maybe a little bit too mellow or whatever, but the Vintage 30s, they have the sound, the feel and the sound that I really like. So on that album we profiled that sound, and then I played with it, and and then I said to Andy, like, okay, let's try the Kemper now, because now this sound is really good. And Andy said, well, you know, you've been actually playing with the Kemper the whole time. I said, okay, then let's use the Kemper. And on the latest Shining album, which hasn't released yet, number 10, which is, I guess, is called Wolf Without a Pack, Varvida Utan, whatever it was in Swedish. So I did most of the guitars on that album. Peter played a few amazing leads, and Andy played one lead, but other than that, it's me all over the rhythms, melodies, and acoustic guitars. So that I just Andy said that he has some really cool profile here. You know, I guess it was based on a PV 5150 and Mesa Boogie cabinet with vintage 30s. So I just plugged it in. I said, fuck man, this sounds great and feels great, so let's use that. And that I used that for the rhythms and for the solos. For the solos I just hit it my trusty old MXR GT-OD overdrive, which is basically a tube screamer in front of it, and you know, that was basically it. And on the clean sounds, I guess we used some Rockman and some Roland Jazz Chorus profile. But yeah, I mean, there's too many knobs for me and too many everything, but you know, Andy just, you know, dialed in a good sound, and I used that because you know, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter how you create or get your sound and the feel and stuff. It's the end result that really matters. So but you know, like I said, live I've been using real pedals and real amps, except for now I've been transferring to use those cabinet simulator things like the Seymour Duncan power stages and the Nunaber Iconoclast with my old school pedalboard. And now here at home, when I've been using demos, or I've been actually recording a few albums, few projects here, I've been using the 11 rack. And what has been done, I've been just dialing a sound from the 11 rack, and then recorded that on one track, and then just a direct sound on one track. And then the producers have either used my recorded sound, or then they reamped my direct sound, or used both, or whatever. But what I basically dial in, it's just like JCM 800 and, you know, Marshall Gap with vintage 30s, and then I played with my overdrive. So the direct sound is excellent direct. It has my overdrive in it, because I really like how the MXR GTOD sounds and feels, no matter what amp are you playing it through. So yeah, that's, you know, kind of the amp thing. And I've used many amps, but basically what I've been liking is the Marshall British style kind of sound, which has that nice middle there, and then the really, like, you know, screaming top end, and which my Friet amps had that too. The second channel in that amp was really like Marshall like. But and if you've seen my previous videos, I show the amp and how I use it on the Pedalboard. But actually they've been in the warehouse now for a few years, so I haven't really been using them, and actually thinking about selling them. But we'll see, because you don't really need, you know, lots of cabinets and 100-watt tube amps even on live to get a great sound. So yeah. So, but now what I'm using, I'm getting all the sounds from my Pedalboard. So how I'm using the 11 rack now, it's only the cab there. So there's no power amp, no preamp, nothing. It's just the vintage cab with vintage 30s, and it sounds like this. Because I found that the Friedman distortion really doesn't work that well if you know, dial in a clean sound from, like, digital clean sound, and then if you put the Friedman, it's just too much. I guess it's because the Friedman has a really wide frequency, how it pushes the amp. So at least on the 11 rack, all the clean sounds that normally, if I would use a real amp, and would work greatly with Friedman, but with them it just creates this, you know, nasty digital hiss. So at home, when I play, I just use this, just a cab simulator, and, you know, if you put a chorus and delay, nice clean sound, basically, you know, what I used in Shining. And then if you put a little overdrive into it, you know, you have a nice bluesy sound. Or if you just boost it with a booster and overdrive. So okay, so how am I using my Friedman and my overdrive? Basically, like I've used JCM 800. So clean, and then my Friedman. I mean, it's a high gain pedal, but there's a trim pot inside where you can lower the gain. So I've lowered the gain, and I actually still have it like you know, on 8 o'clock, so real low. It has that kind of 70s. rock sound which cleans up pretty good. Cleans up nicely when you play with your volume, which I do a lot. And then, well, like main crush, heavy distortion sound is just I just kick in the overdrive, which is in front, so before the Friedman in the signal chain. So it just gives that sustain. That also cleans up pretty nicely, so I don't have that much distortion either. I mean, the output is on like 2 o'clock and the gain is like 8 o'clock. So, you know, Friedman alone with the overdrive. And the overdrive alone is like clean. Just gives that little extra. I mean it works real nice with the Friedman. So there's really not a lot of distortion. It's just the output is you know on 2 or 3, so it pushes the Friedman nicely, and it has that nice middle sound that these tube screamer type overdrives has, which I like. So this is good now, but you know the Friedman doesn't have the middle control, and since I'm using the cab simulator only, this is lacking a bit of mid range. So if I would use a real amp or those new cabinet simulator / amp kind of things like the Seymour Duncan Power Stage, whatever it's called, Google it. It's really cool. So that has a middle knob. So I usually turn the middle quite well, it's not extremely high, but it's definitely there. Because that gives you the, I guess, you know, the body and the singing sustain, and it cuts you through the mix. Now this is like the good bedroom sound, as they say, you know, playing alone. You know, it sounds fat and chunky and stuff. You know, when playing with the band or when I'm, you know, jamming with some you know music, you know, from Spotify or whatever, you know, I'd like to have the middle. But I mean, at home, this is really good, you know. And you know, for recording, you know, I use the Pro Tools, so then I just, you know, record. I mean, the 11 rack, the models, they're pretty good there. And some of the producers have used what I've used, but you know, it isn't, in my opinion, as good as the Kemper, where you can use the actual sound and you don't have to reamp anything. But it's a really cool thing to record guitars, do demos, play along with at home, and then when the final mixing part comes, then you know you can easily, if you record a clean direct sound, which is easily done with that, you know, it records clean sound while you're playing with your, you know, chosen sound, so you can reamp that with a real amp or with the Kemper or whatever. So yeah, so that's like and then my solo boost, just got a new Wampler pedal. That's after the overdrive and distortion, so it's not pushing the pedals. If it would be before, it would push the pedals like the Tube Screamer is pushing the Friedman, but now when it's after, it just raises the volume and it's pushing a little bit to the amp too, so the signal is hotter and louder when it comes to the amp, so the volume is actually louder. So rhythm, read. also use almost all the time is a little bit of delay. So boost and the delay. So it doesn't mess up the tone too much. It just creates this nice little ambient feeling, and it's you know more fun to play. It makes the sound a little bit bigger. But I use it basically only on clean and on the solo, or if a certain riff requires like a delay, like you know. So I still do some covers. That was the, you know, Welcome to the Jungle without delay, and then with the delay. Just to have that nice ambient. Okay, so that was kind of that, and then you know I have a phaser, which is cool to kick in lead sometimes. Eruption. So, but I'm using that on some of the leads, and that's cool also to use on clean as well. And then I use Flanger, you know. That I'm actually, yeah, that for that, and you know sometimes you know for you know crazy things it's cool to hear, and it actually sounds really good on the clean sound also, you know. And the trusty old chorus, which I used, my shining clean sound was the delay and the chorus. Neck pickup usually gives nice. And then I have a compressor, which I mainly use if I'm playing some country stuff with my Telecaster, or you know you can check the other video. which actually was set up quite a mellow clipping, because sometimes I use it if I wanna have a really hot, lots of sustain. Then kick the compressor. So I'm playing at home really low volume, so it's so on. So yeah, that pedal was actually set just not to have the clipping, but just a little bit sustain, or quite a lot of sustain, and then a little bit, blend in the Wampler Ego Compressor. The blend is awesome. I mean, if you put it just a little, so it doesn't affect the sound, and you doesn't have the clipping, doesn't change the sound, it just affects, adds sustain. And if I wanna have that like chicken picking sound, I push it harder, so it's with the humbuckers, and these are active EMG 81, 85, it doesn't work that well. You have to have a single coil guitar. Tele is really good, so that doesn't really work, that type of sound with the humbuckers, and especially with the active EMGs. So these are actives, although they look like vintage pickups. But yeah. And the one thing that I always have on is my noise gate, the ISP Decimator. So it's like, now it's off. Sorry. Now it's on. So it cuts the hiss, but it isn't gated that much, just to get rid of the hiss. And it's always on all the time. I don't switch it off when I'm playing the clean, because feedback, so it's just to get rid of that, noise. I mean, you can hear it when you're playing with the band, but it's cool to have the silent guitar, and I guess it cleans up the sound a bit too. Then I have my Petrucci Wah, and that's actually that's the Petrucci settings, and it's pretty aggressive. I mean, it adds quite a lot of gain. If I'm playing clean and I add the wah, so you can hear the gain knob is. I've been thinking about maybe turning that a little bit down, because right now you can't really play any funky stuff because it's distorts, but on the other hand, I don't really play funk. And if I want, I have some other wahs. I like standard Crybaby or Jimi Hendrix Crybaby, and those wahs suit better for that kind of thing if I would need. So this is like, with the distortion, this works really well. It's basically like the boost pedal. It just adds that extra something, a lot of sustain, because the wah itself adds gain. If I took that off, the sound dies. So that's really good wah, because it's such a wide range. most of the time I'm using in the middle or high position, just to not doing the waka waka, just like. Highlight the wow, those kind of things. And my newest is Whammy Ricochet, this small sized Whammy, because I used to have or I still have the like the old Whammy with the, you know, the pedal, but it was it's too big to fit, and you know, when I find this, I was like, yeah, because you can dial in how you want this knob to act, like you can kind of like model it how you want. So if you want to use, you know, so I've been saying, I'm setting it like, you know, Dimebag did, you know, on Becoming, and Tom Morello on that song where the solo was killing in the name of, yeah. Okay, so that was my sounds and how I come up with them, and you know, just show you the Pedalboard once more. So it's made by my good old friends from Custom Boards Finland, Kimmo and Eetu. Big thumbs up for you guys, amazing job. And it has a, well, this is actually, there's my picks and my truss rod, you know, thing. So and it has a really cool, like, power is here, so everything is in nicely wired, so you know, this can survive pretty much anything. And it's marked, you know, all the pedals have different power things, and the order of the signal isn't the same as on the board. This is just like how I want to use. So the, like, you know, the overdrive, distortion and the boost are here, which I use the most, and the delay and the Whammy, although I don't use that much, that's here because, you know, it will be hard to kick in here because you need to have your foot on the ground, and the compressor is, well, I don't use that much either, but it just fit it here. So, but the signal chain is like, first it goes to the tuner. From the tuner it goes to Whammy, because the more cleaner the sound is when it comes to Whammy, it reacts more accurately, in my opinion. I tried it some other places, but I found it best when it's, you know, without anything pedals in front of it except the tuner, and that doesn't really affect the sound. Or some people say that Boss tuner affects, because this isn't really true bypass, but I've had this pedal since it came out over 20 years ago, 25 I guess, and I've used it on all the albums, everything. It's always in between my singles, so I guess that's part of my sound then. From the Whammy it goes to compressor. Yeah, I like the compressor also be as early in the signal chain as possible. From the compressor it goes to Wah, because I like the Wah to be in front of the overdrive and distortion pedals. I just like the sound, and since this has a gain boost also, so doesn't really boost the volume, it just boosts the gain when it's before. And then it's after Wah comes the phaser. I also like the phaser to be before overdrive and distortion pedals. Just sounds better to me. Then it's the Tube Screamer or GTOD, whatever. Really good. And then it's the distortion, and like I told you, overdrive before distortion, because I don't like to boost the volume with the overdrive. I just like to boost or push harder to this pedal. So that's because I use this in combination, so it only affects the sound and the gain a bit, but not the volume. And you know, the distortion, and then the boost, which is after these, because that's how it boosts the volume, and not boosting the pedals. If it will be in front, it will just add gain, but now it adds a little bit of gain, but the main thing that I'm using it's the volume, so I get the needed solo boost for the leads to be heard. After the booster comes Flanger or chorus. No, I don't remember, but either one of these, because I guess it's the chorus, or I don't remember. But I tried, you know, having Flanger before chorus and chorus before Flanger, because I sometimes use them both simultaneously, and whatever way it is, I will write it to the description sheet below, because now I'm having a blank moment, because you know, but it sounded better when it was, I don't remember now, but I like the sound better when it was, I guess it was well, let me see how it is here. Yeah, it's actually, stupid me, you can see it's the Flanger, it comes from the booster, and then from Flanger to chorus. Yeah, because the thing was that when I'm having a Flanger, if I'm putting a chorus, it just widens the flanging sound, and if it will be other way around, it will be chorus and then Flanger, so the sound will be wide, and then the Flanger would kind of, it made it sound, well, not that good to me. So yeah, that's the thing. And from the chorus it goes to the noise gate, and from the noise gate it goes to the delay. The delay is last, because if this noise gate will be after the delay, then it would eat the tails of the delay, and I want all the tails to sound as here, so because otherwise this gate would you know, eat out the delay tail. And from that amp it goes to the amp, or you know, iconoclast speaker emulator, or whatever I'm playing with. Well, that was the last pretty long video, but you know, I've been getting quite a lot of questions and stuff about this, so I just thought that it's easier for me to explain and do the video. Hey, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more guitar related stuff to come. Take care, bye.